Today on Investigate TV Plus, the fight for transparency inside the military's medical system. With the help of a whistleblower and confidential documents, we uncover a secretive, often protected world that leaves loved ones in the dark.
They hold all the cards, and the DoD is not being held responsible.
Then the deed to a couple's home is signed away after they had already died.
You can't walk up and say, I like that house, I'm gonna just take it.
How criminals are using a legal loophole to steal homes, and the steps now in place to protect more property owners.
Plus, from homelessness to helping others, how a Nashville man inspires people to find their purpose from an unlikely place.
I went through all the things that I went through for a reason. So now I can help somebody else.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Thousands of military families are being shielded from critical information when it comes to their healthcare providers. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Service members and their families typically get care within the military healthcare system, overseen by the Defense Health Agency. It's a network of about 600 facilities nationwide. But when mistakes are made or providers engage in misconduct, those individuals are protected. Information about their discipline, malpractice, and payouts are kept confidential under federal law, often leaving patients in the dark.
But a whistleblower is helping investigative reporter Josie Sturman pull back the curtain of secrecy.
There's a very significant problem with military medicine.
The DoD is fighting you from letting you know the truth. Why are they hiding it?
It's shrouded in darkness.
We've got to make sure that they're held accountable.
After 2 years investigating military malpractice, battling the Defense Health Agency for records, and interviewing nearly 20 experts, patients, advocates, attorneys, and lawmakers, it was a package that arrived in the mail that is helping to crack a curtain of darkness, the one around negligent care at the hands of military doctors.
Nobody would know about it if it wasn't for whistleblowers within the Defense Department or investigative journalists.
A whistleblower sending our national investigative team documents typically kept confidential by federal law. We're seeing something families don't when their loved ones are killed or severely injured by military providers. It's paperwork that details the play-by-play that happens after a mishap in a military medical facility, as doctors lay bare problematic and tragic cases. After a death or serious injury, this is the first step the military typically uses internally to evaluate the potential for discipline or liability. It details whether doctors made errors in technique or judgment, delayed diagnosis, communicated ineffectively, even whether equipment was missing or failed to work. It asks two critical questions. Was the incident preventable? Did military providers meet the standard of care? But even when mistakes are made and acknowledged in black and white, what's said in this paperwork is withheld from military families, even if they sue or file a claim.
It's a chasm. It's a chasm of untruths, zero transparency.
Susie Way feels a void unlike any other. The kind only a mother who's buried a son can possibly understand. The hollow of heartbreak amplified by the aggravation of trying to figure out what killed him in the first place.
I live with that guilt. I live with that guilt. That why didn't I get on a plane and do something about this? But he kept saying to me, Mom, I'm going to be okay. I trust them.
Jordan Way had no reason not to trust the medical staff at Bush Naval Hospital at 29 Palms in California. He was one of them. The 23-year-old Navy corpsman had surgery in December 2017. Records show he was discharged with oxycodone for pain, returning to the ER hours later, telling the staff medication wasn't working. The dose was increased as his pain continued, with his fellow corpsmen doling out pills as prescribed. But Jordan was never evaluated in person despite multiple calls to his surgeon and the hospital, dying just 4 days after surgery from opioid intoxication.
He was opioid naive, and the dosing that the doctors were giving him, the other dosage, they weren't clearing his system. So he was having a buildup of toxins in a very short period of time.
But it would take years of fighting for his family to learn more about his death. requiring multiple Freedom of Information Act requests and congressional help to get his file. The Ways never got that confidential form we showed you earlier. What they did get left a lot of questions. Jordan's file filled with black holes. It's not the first time we've seen military officials playing doctors of defense.
What we reported, did it surprise you, shock you?
Of course it shocked me.
U.S. Senator Chuck Grassley reacting to the findings of our previous investigation into military malpractice. After filing numerous information requests over the last 2 years, we obtained data showing between 2018 and 2022, there were nearly 500 military medical provider reports to a confidential government databank that tracks discipline, lawsuit settlements, and malpractice payouts, and nearly $1 billion in taxpayer money spent on malpractice claims filed against military providers in the last 15 years. The names of all of them are kept confidential.
In the civilian side, we know who those people are. Their names are public. And the public ought to be protected from people that don't deliver medical care the way that the profession dictates.
The Ways submitted a malpractice claim with the military, along with expert testimony from doctors who reviewed his file. They called his death avoidable, yet the family's claim and subsequent appeal were denied.
They hold all the cards. They hold all the cards. And they're not being, and the DOD is not being held responsible.
According to the Defense Health Agency, nearly 600 malpractice claims have been filed since January 2020. Only 20 have been paid. More than 250 have been denied, with the rest still in limbo. The Government Accountability Office is already investigating how the Defense Health Agency handles the discipline of doctors and providers who treat service members. In April 2024, an audit looked into 55 discipline cases at just 4 military treatment facilities. It found doctors in some cases were not being suspended as required while investigations were done. Also, notifications about suspensions to state medical boards and that confidential data bank were sometimes delayed for weeks or months beyond the required deadline.
It's important for us to ensure that they are getting care that is from providers that are competent and qualified.
Leaders with the Defense Health Agency say they have been transparent.
If they're outside the military system, they can look up whatever they want. If they're inside your circle, they can't do that. Does that feel right?
As a surgeon, what feels right to me is having a conversation with my patient.
To hear their response to malpractice concerns, head to InvestigateTV.com and search Doctors of Defense.
Still to come, turning frustration into innovation.
I hated having to wake up and put a thermometer in my mouth every day. And I wanted a way to do that would be both precise, but effortless.
How high-tech earrings could revolutionize the way women monitor their health.
But first, a woman loses her parents, then thieves steal their home.
And I heard him in the background saying, I own the house, I have a title, I have a deed.
Up next, a warning on how some police departments are changing tactics to help track these cases.
You can watch Investigate TV Plus anytime, streaming online. Get the app for Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. They're free to download.
Stealing a car, a cell phone, or a wallet, all thefts we can see. A crook grabs and flees. But experts warn of a rising threat known as deed fraud. Criminals can steal your home or land without you ever knowing paperwork was filed.
Investigative reporter Sierra Cummings explains how Georgia law enforcement are starting to track these cases to help stop the theft.
These windows were off.
The Decatur house on the corner of Columbia Woods Drive is an extension of Marva Reyes's lineage. Her parents first purchased it in 1974 after tragedy.
They made the down payment and policy from my brother's death. This represents our family.
But the property has changed so much this past year, including the ownership.
Taken by someone.
DeKalb County records show Marva called code enforcement March 2024 for trespassing. While there, inspectors cited the property for exterior dwelling violations like debris and yard maintenance. Additionally, the home was supposed to be empty and vacant, but inspectors noted someone gained access, leaving the house in disarray. It's unclear who did it, but this man, whose face we're blurring, was there at the time. A man Marva accuses of being a squatter.
When we came to get the squatter out, the squatter was telling me, oh, the owner said I can stay here. So he called the owner, and I heard him in the background saying, I own the house, I have a title, I have a deed.
Documents reveal there was, in fact, a new deed on the house. According to the latest county records, on January 24th, 2024, Marva's mom, Katie Williams, signed her name on this deed, transferring the house's title over to Ayomide Abarash-B. But wait, that can't be. Katie Williams could not have signed over her home January 2024 because by then she was already dead for 7 years. This death certificate confirms Marva's mom, Katie, died February 2017. Marva's dad, Walter Williams, died shortly after too, meaning neither could have signed or transferred the title of their property. Additionally, Marva was named the executor of their estate, her late parents leaving her their house. Old state law made it easy for thieves to steal the titles to homes. Under that state policy, to file or transfer a deed on a house, no identification was required. Simply put, the state did not require anyone to actually prove they owned the very property they're filing paperwork on. New state law takes effect in 2025, mandating identification when filing deeds, but it comes too late for cases like Marva's, after B already exploited the loophole, Marva alleges.
You can't walk up and say, I like that house, I'm gonna just take it. We're not giving up as a family in getting this home back.
There's a lot of paperwork involved.
In the neighboring county, Gwinnett Police says it's trying to get homes back for families too.
It gets complicated. It takes a lot of time and effort to be able to sift through the types of paperwork.
After noticing a trend of stolen homes,
especially the last 6 months,
Corporal Ryan Winderweeder explains detectives upped their department's strategy.
They created a way in our new records management system to flag and tag reports that are believed to be some kind of title fraud.
Specifically, tracking and streamlining the investigative process, all an effort to help prioritize property fraud cases.
Georgia does offer a property fraud registry. While it doesn't prevent someone from committing deed fraud, homeowners can sign up to get alerts anytime paperwork is filed on their home.
A similar yet separate loophole exists when filing paperwork for evictions in Georgia. Turns out no one has to prove they own the property they're seeking an eviction on. Georgia state law does not explicitly require it. As long as the initial documents are completely filled out, county clerks like Shay Alexander must accept it.
They e-file it, so it's an electronic process. They could be at their kitchen table. We look to see if it's in proper form.
And so there's not even like identification, like they don't have to submit an ID?
Not at all.
They don't have to show a deed
that
they own the property?
Nothing.
Alexander says there's not a spot in the electronic system for anyone to submit proof. Also, under Georgia law, clerks cannot investigate eviction documents or interrogate anyone who's filing them, such as asking for a photo ID.
Still ahead, earrings that listen to your body.
The light beam goes directly to your blood vessels and comes back to the technology and reads what's going on with your blood.
How two women turn personal health challenges into technology that could help millions of women track life's natural cycles.
Our in-depth coverage continues. You can get connected to Investigate TV Plus on all social media platforms.
You've heard of smart watches, but what about smart earrings? It's high-tech jewelry being developed in South Carolina.
According to the creators, the goal is to make a stylish and comfortable device that helps women better understand their health by tracking menstrual cycles, stress levels, and sleep.
Reporter Carrie Beal explains how it works and why researchers have opted to use the earlobe.
So these are the in-court earrings for the clinical trials.
Lindsay Calcutt and Teresa Gavart are co-founders of Encora Health and have been dreaming of a technology like this for years.
I've been wearing my set backwards because sleeping in them, there's like a little divot behind your ear and it lays right into the divot.
They each have their own story of why a smart earring could be beneficial for so many women.
And I was using natural methods to manage my fertility, and that really entails tracking your ovulation through temperature.
A woman's body temperature often rises slightly when ovulating.
I hated having to wake up and put a thermometer in my mouth every day, and I wanted a way to do that would be both precise but effortless.
And Lindsay's reason was due to her postpartum journey as a mother.
My first one, I actually had to get a blood transfusion, had a bleed out, fainted, could not do skin to skin with my daughter. My second one, I was back in the ER on Christmas Eve because every time I would stand up, I would faint.
Both women started harping on the idea of a better option. And as a Clemson University PhD graduate in bioengineering, Lindsay had an idea.
The pulse and a couple of other vital signs in the earlobe is pretty accurate.
So they worked with designers in Silicon Valley to develop a smart earring that connects to an app on your phone.
And if you want to think about it, it's done through wearable technology based off of a light sensor. So the light beam goes directly to your blood vessels and comes back to the technology and reads what's going on with your blood.
Soon, they will be putting the technology to the test.
So we're going to the extra step and doing clinical trials that are not necessarily needed to start selling the product.
They are partnering with USC School of Medicine Greenville and Prisma Health.
I think what excites me about this particular project and technology is that it's a way to give people more information about their health. I think when we arm people with data and information, they can make better decisions about their own health and health care.
Dr. Marjorie Jenkins says this clinical trial will also give medical students hands-on experience with advanced biotechnology.
We have really brilliant medical students here. 98% of our students do research, and we have usually at least 15 or 20% of our class go into OBGYN. And so it was really nice to be able to bring that opportunity to some of our students.
And if everything goes as planned, they see a lot of potential for variations in the future.
We have opportunity to make the earring a hoop or a dangle or a stud, really any color. So we have optionality to really tap into the creativity of what a woman would want to wear for her earring.
In July of 2024, Encora Health and USC received approval to officially begin their first clinical study.
Up next, we travel to the Music City to meet the man in the can who's on a mission of service.
I want them to know that so fresh, so clean means that you are clean on the inside and it's showing on the outside.
Visiting the Broadway bars, it's a Nashville tradition. While people enjoy live music and good company, eventually they will have to stop at one particular place inside the honky-tonks, the restroom. And if you've ever been to bars or clubs in big cities, you've likely run into a restroom attendant providing whatever you might need to freshen up.
It may not seem like a job with much impact, but reporter Lauren Lowry introduces us to a man who's found his purpose while handing out paper towels.
Crowds gather as lines grow on Nashville's most famous street. They come for the party, the atmosphere, and of course, the music. But inside every Broadway bar, there's comings and goings of a different sort. Because at some point, everyone needs one thing.
I mean, we usually use the bathroom about 6 to 8 times a day, about 2,500 times a year. And that averaged out to be about 92 days in a lifetime. She's a paper towel.
Alonzo Cheeks is a bathroom attendant.
All right, man. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Ready with everything people might want, but he's known for giving what they need.
It starts with you, and then you make everybody around you better.
I need more people like you.
Oh, man. Smile up.
He calls himself the man in the can, which is a bathroom now. But 20 years ago, his can was the Metro Detention Center in South Nashville.
I was homeless before, and I was kind of like living on the streets, pretty much under the bridge. I didn't have anywhere to sleep, so I attempted to steal an automobile to have a place to sleep for that night. And unfortunately, I made wrong choices, bad decisions.
Alonzo served 4 months between 2005 and 2006, and during that time, he made a promise.
Yeah, I was like, God, when I get out of here, I'm gonna change my life around. I'm not gonna be the same person. Follow the doctor's order.
And he's kept that promise. In the years since, he's become a mental health counselor and a specialist in addiction recovery, counseling hundreds of people in their transformation. He's also a safe bar trainer, teaching bartenders how to spot signs of sexual assault and how to intervene. He's done it all while still working nights in Broadway bathrooms and giving people with a similar past a chance to change their future.
You bring people on to work with you who have something to rehabilitate from or even have come out of jail themselves. What is it that you want them to know about the job they're doing?
I want them to know that you're serving people. And I want them to know that So Fresh, So Clean means that you are clean on the inside and it's showing on the outside. And then everybody around us begin to feel the same way. It's contagious. This is my purpose. You know, I went through all the things that I went through for a reason. So now I can help somebody else.
And he does it with connection and a fresh perspective.
This is my favorite bathroom in London.
It's a favorite? All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
What an incredible guy, turning around his life like that, and is just an inspiration to so many people now.
Now he's got a booming business.
He does. He's pretty good at his job, too.
The people seem to like him.
They do.
Yeah. Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm T. Chappelle.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching. Next time on Investigate TV Plus, this man spent a decade in jail waiting for his day in court.
We're not supposed to punish them until after a jury has found beyond a reasonable doubt that they're guilty.
His emotional release and an in-depth look at delayed justice in the U.S.